When giants underestimate ants, the warning signs deep in the Antarctic research facility, Dr. Sarah Chen stared at readings that shouldn't exist. The massive radio telescope array had been scanning deep space for signs of intelligent life for over 20 years. Today, it found something that made her blood freeze. The computer screen displayed energy signatures unlike anything in their databases. Ships, hundreds of them, and they were moving toward Earth at impossible speeds. Sarah's hands trembled as she reached for the secure communication device. The red phone connected directly to the Global Defense Network, a secret organization formed after the last World War, when leaders finally realized that humanity's greatest threats might come from beyond the stars. She had hoped she would never need to use it. "This is Antarctic Station, one calling Emergency Protocol 7. She spoke into the device, her voice steady despite the fear crawling up her spine. "We have confirmation of large-scale extraterrestrial approach. Repeat, we have incoming alien contact." The response came within seconds. "Dr. Chen, this is General Marcus Stone at GDN Command. Confirm your readings and transmit all data immediately. We're scrambling the emergency council." As Sarah uploaded the telemetry data, she watched the alien fleet's progress. They weren't hiding. They weren't being subtle. They were announcing their presence like conquerors arriving to claim their prize. The formation was perfect, disciplined, and terrifyingly large. Each ship registered as massive as Earth's largest aircraft carriers, and there were more than 300 of them. The message effectuated. Hours later, every communication device on Earth received the same transmission simultaneously. Television broadcasts stopped mid-sentence. Radio stations went silent. Cell phones, computers, even digital billboards displayed the same image. A being that looked almost human but wrong in every detail that mattered. Its skin was pale blue, stretched tight over sharp bones. Its eyes were black wells that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. When it spoke, the voice came from everywhere at once, translated into every language on Earth simultaneously. "Inhabitants of the third planet, I am High Counselor Zephyr of the Galactic Council. Your species has developed to a level that requires integration into our civilization. You will surrender all military technology, disarm your weapons of mass destruction, and accept council oversight of your governments. You have 72 hours to comply." The image shifted, showing massive ships hanging in Earth's upper atmosphere like floating cities of metal and light. "Resistance will result in the sterilization of your planet and the elimination of your species. We have done this before. We will do it again if necessary. Choose wisely." The transmission ended, leaving Earth in stunned silence for exactly seconds. Then the chaos began. The response in the deepest bunker beneath Geneva. World leaders gathered for the first truly unified meeting in human history. Presidents, prime ministers, dictators, and kings sat around a circular table, their usual political differences forgotten in the face of extinction. General Stone stood at the head of the table, his weathered face grim but determined. Behind him, holographic displays showed the alien fleet's positions and Earth's military assets. The numbers were not encouraging. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have 60 hours remaining," Stone began. "Our combined nuclear arsenal could maybe take out 50 of their ships before they glass the planet. Conventional weapons are useless against their energy shielding. By every military calculation, we should surrender." The President of the Americas leaned forward. "But we're not going to, are we, General?" Stone smiled grimly. Hell no, because they made one crucial mistake. They gave us time to prepare, and they underestimated what desperate humans are capable of. The Prime Minister of the European Federation raised her hand. What are you proposing? We don't fight them like they expect, Stone replied. They're thinking like a traditional military force. Big ships, big weapons, overwhelming firepower. But we're not going to play by their rules. Professor James Wright, the theoretical physicist who had been silently reviewing data, suddenly looked up. General, I think I know what you're planning. The distributed network protocols we developed for cyber warfare. Exactly. We can't match their firepower, but we can make ourselves impossible to defeat. Every human becomes a soldier. Every city becomes a fortress. Every communication device becomes a weapon. The preparation what happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for generations to come. In 60 hours, humanity transformed from a divided species into a unified war machine. Captain Elena Vasquez received her orders at a secret airbase hidden beneath the Nevada desert. She was one of 12 pilots selected for humanity's first strike against the alien fleet. Her ship didn't look like much, a sleek black triangle barely larger than an ancient fighter jet. But appearances were deceiving. The Phantom Project? The chief engineer explained as Alina ran her hands along the ship's surface. Stealth technology beyond anything we've ever built. The hull absorbs radar, sonar, and most energy scans. To their sensors, you'll be invisible until you're close enough to touch them. Alina climbed into the cockpit, feeling the ship respond to her presence. The controls were intuitive, designed to interface directly with human neural patterns. What's my payload? That's the beautiful part. The engineer grinned. You're not carrying explosives. You're carrying a virus. Not biological, but digital. Professor Wright and his team developed it based on intercepted alien communications. It should spread through their network like wildfire, disrupting their coordination and control systems. Meanwhile, in cities around the world, ordinary people were becoming extraordinary. The global internet had been transformed into a military command network. Every smartphone became a sensor node. Every computer became part of a massive distributed computing system designed to process information faster than any centralized command structure could respond. In Tokyo, a retired engineer named Hiroshi Tanaka worked alongside his teenage grandson to convert their apartment building's communication system into a signal jamming station. In São Paulo, a former soldier named Maria Santos organized her neighbors into a communication relay network that could operate even if the main internet infrastructure was destroyed. The aliens expected to face armies. Instead, they would face an entire species that had decided to fight as one organism. The first strike when Earth's response came. It wasn't what anyone expected. High Counselor Zephyr stood on the bridge of the command vessel, watching Earth through the massive viewing portal. The planet looked peaceful, blue and green and utterly helpless. In his 300 years of service to the Council, he had overseen 17 planetary integrations. They all followed the same pattern. Initial resistance, followed by negotiation, followed by acceptance. Sir, his tactical officer reported, we're detecting some unusual electromagnetic activity from the planet's surface, but nothing that appears to be military in nature. Zephyr nodded. They're probably attempting to coordinate a surrender, begin descent to the major population centers. We'll accept their capitulation from the bridge. Lights flickered. Then they went out entirely. In the darkness, Zephyr heard his crew shouting in confusion as their instruments failed one by one. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across the command center as technicians frantically tried to restore power. "What's happening?" Zephyr demanded. "Sir, something is wrong with our computer systems. They're not responding to commands. It's like they're fighting us." That's when Elena Vasquez's voice came through their communication system, speaking in perfect council standard. "Hello, Counselor. We got your message. Here's our response." Elena's ship decloaked directly in front of the command vessel's viewing portal, close enough that Zephyr could see her face through her helmet visor. She was smiling. "You see, Counselor, you made a mistake. You assumed we would fight you with ships and guns and missiles. But humans don't fight fair. We fight smart." Across the alien fleet, similar scenes were playing out. The virus that Elena and her 11 companions had delivered was spreading through the Council's network faster than their security systems could adapt. Ship after ship lost power, navigation, and weapons control. But the real surprise came from Earth itself. Every communication satellite, every radio telescope, every broadcasting station on the planet suddenly focused their energy on the alien fleet in a coordinated electromagnetic pulse. The combined output was equivalent to a solar storm, but focused and controlled with pinpoint precision. The alien ships, designed to withstand asteroid impacts and energy weapons, were not prepared for a planet-wide coordinated assault on their electronic systems. Their shields flickered and died. Their engines went silent. Their weapon systems shut down one by one. "This is General Stone to all Council vessels," came the broadcast from Earth. "You came here expecting to find sheep. Instead, you found wolves. We reject your ultimatum. We reject your authority. And we reject your assumption that might makes right." High Counselor Zephyr watched in growing horror as his mighty fleet was systematically disabled by creatures he had dismissed as primitives. For the first time in 3 centuries, he felt genuine fear. "How?" he whispered. Elena's ship moved closer to the viewing portal. "Because, Counselor, you forgot the most important thing about humans. We never fight alone. Every person on that planet is part of this battle. You're not facing an army, you're facing a species." As if to prove her point, the virus completed its work. Every screen on every ship in the Council fleet displayed the same message in their own language. "Earth stands united. Leave now, or learn why we survived when so many other species didn't." The first phase of the war was over before it had really begun. But Zephyr knew this was just the beginning. The Council had never been defied like this. They would return, with everything they had, and when they did, humanity would be ready. Asterisk, the price of underestimating humanity, the Council's fury 3 weeks after the humiliating defeat of the First Fleet. High Counselor Zephyr stood before the Grand Assembly of the Galactic Council. The chamber was vast, carved from a single asteroid and capable of holding representatives from 1,000 worlds. Today, it buzzed with angry voices from across the galaxy. "The humans have made us look weak," snarled Ambassador Krex, his reptilian features twisted with rage. "If word spreads that a primitive world can resist the Council, every backwater planet will think they can defy us." Counselor Valara, her crystalline form shimmering with indignation, added, "My homeworld was integrated peacefully because they feared our power. If we allow this insult to stand, we lose our authority over 300 civilizations." Zephyr raised his hand for silence. The virus attack had damaged more than their ships. It had wounded their pride. The humans will pay for their defiance. I propose we deploy the Annihilation Protocol. A hush fell over the assembly. The Annihilation Protocol had only been used twice in Council history, both times to eliminate species that had proven too dangerous to integrate. It meant the complete sterilization of a planet and the extinction of its entire biosphere. Seconded came voices from across the chamber, but Admiral Thane, the Council's supreme military commander, stood slowly. His species was ancient, older than most civilizations in the galaxy, and his voice carried the weight of millennia of warfare. "Honored counselors," he began, his voice deep and resonant, "I must advise caution. The humans defeated our fleet, not through superior technology, but through tactics we had never encountered. They fight as a unified organism while maintaining individual initiative. They adapt faster than our protocols can respond. If we underestimate them again, they're primitives," Zephyr interrupted. "They haven't even achieved faster than light travel. They're confined to one world. How dangerous can they be?" Admiral Thane's ancient eyes held a sadness that spoke of too many wars. "Counselor, in my 800 years of service, I have learned that the most dangerous enemy is not the one with the biggest weapons. It's the one with nothing left to lose." Earth's desperate gambit back on Earth, humanity was preparing for the inevitable counterattack. The victory against the First Fleet had bought them time, but everyone knew the Council would return with overwhelming force. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the rebuilt command center beneath NORAD, surrounded by screens showing activity across the solar system. The aliens had established a blockade beyond Mars, cutting Earth off from any chance of escape. They were building something out there, something massive. "How long do we have?" General Stone asked, joining Sarah at the central display. "Our long-range sensors show they're constructing some kind of superweapon," Sarah replied, her voice tight with worry. "Based on the energy readings, it's designed to crack planets. Maybe 2 weeks before it's operational." Professor Wright looked up from his calculations. "I've been analyzing the data from Captain Vasquez's mission. The virus didn't just disable their ships. It downloaded their entire technical database. We now have access to Council technology going back thousands of years. Can we build defenses?" Stone asked. Wright shook his head. "Not in time, but I have another idea. What if we don't try to defend Earth? What if we make it impossible for them to destroy us?" Elena Vasquez, recently returned from a reconnaissance mission, raised an eyebrow. "Explain." "The Council's greatest weakness is their centralized command structure," Wright continued. "Every decision flows through their hierarchy. But what if we remove ourselves from the equation entirely?" Sarah frowned. "You're talking about evacuation. There's nowhere to run." "Not evacuation," Wright smiled grimly. "Distribution. We spread humanity across the solar system. Not just people, but our entire civilization. Our knowledge, our culture, our ability to fight back. We become impossible to eliminate because we're everywhere." The swarm awakens. What happened next defied every military doctrine the Council had ever studied. Instead of fortifying Earth for a siege, humanity abandoned the planet entirely. Using hastily constructed generation ships, millions of humans spread throughout the solar system. Some went to the moon, others to Mars. Mining stations in the asteroid belt became military outposts. Even the moons of Jupiter and Saturn received human colonists. But they weren't running. They were positioning themselves. Captain Vasquez found herself commanding a fleet of ships, unlike anything that had ever existed. They were small, fast, and built using a combination of human ingenuity and stolen Council technology. Each ship could operate independently, but they were also networked together in a command structure that could adapt and respond faster than any centralized system. "It's like commanding a school of fish," she explained to her squadron leaders. "We don't need orders from above. We think together, move together, strike together." The ships themselves were works of art and engineering combined. Human creativity had taken Council technology and improved it in ways the aliens had never imagined. Stealth systems that could fool sensors. Weapons that adapted their frequency to penetrate any shield. Most importantly, they were small enough and numerous enough that destroying them all would be impossible. The battle for humanity's soul. When Admiral Thane's armada finally arrived in Earth's solar system, they found something unprecedented. The planet appeared deserted, but the space around it swarmed with human activity. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we're detecting over 10,000 individual ships. They single quotes everywhere. Asteroids, moons, orbital platforms. It's like the entire system has become militarized." Thane studied the readings with growing respect. "They've turned their entire civilization into a military force. Impressive." The battle that followed lasted for 3 months and would be remembered as the most complex military engagement in galactic history. The Council fleet was vastly superior in individual ship strength, but they were fighting an enemy that refused to present a single target. Human ships would appear from behind asteroids, strike at Council vessels, then vanish into the cosmic background radiation. What the aliens thought were mining stations would suddenly reveal themselves as weapons platforms. Even civilian transport ships carried enough firepower to threaten. Council cruisers. Elena Vasquez led one of the most audacious attacks of the war. Using a captured Council stealth generator, her squadron approached the alien superweapon while it was still under construction. They didn't try to destroy it. Instead, they infected it with an advanced version of Professor Wright's virus. When the weapon fired, instead of cracking Earth's crust, it turned its devastating beam on the Council's own fleet. "This is impossible," Admiral Thane muttered as he watched a quarter of his armada destroyed by their own superweapon. "How are they coordinating attacks across the entire system without centralized command?" His aide provided the answer that would change Council doctrine forever. "Sir, they don't need centralized command. Every human ship is simultaneously independent and part of the whole. They're fighting like a single organism with millions of minds." The price of victory. The war ended not with a climactic battle, but with a realization. Admiral Thane, after losing ship after ship to human tactics, finally understood what he was facing. He opened a communication channel to every human vessel in the system. "This is Admiral Thane of the Galactic Council Fleet. I request parley with your leaders." The response came from Elena Vasquez, her scarred face appearing on screens throughout the Council armada. "Admiral, we don't have leaders in the way you understand them. I speak for all humanity when I say we're listening. Captain Vasquez, in 800 years of warfare, I have never encountered an enemy like your species. You fight with a unity we have never achieved while maintaining an individual initiative we have never understood. You adapt faster than we can plan. You innovate faster than we can respond. You have defeated us, not through superior technology, but through superior thinking." Elena's expression remained carefully neutral. "What are you proposing, Admiral? A treaty? Not integration, not surrender, but recognition. Humanity will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. Your species has proven that they deserve a voice in galactic affairs. The silence that followed stretched across the solar system as millions of humans considered their response. Finally, Alina spoke for all of them. "Admiral, we accept your proposal with conditions. First, no species will ever again be forced to integrate against their will. Second, the annihilation protocol is abolished. Third, the Council will be restructured to give every member species an equal voice, not just the oldest and most powerful." Admiral Thane found himself smiling despite the circumstances. "You're not content to simply win, are you? You want to change the entire galaxy." Admiral, Alina replied, "That's what humans do. We don't just survive, we improve everything we touch. The galaxy will be a better place with us in it." The New Order 6 months later. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed Earth Embassy on the Council homeworld. Through the vast windows, she could see representatives from 100 different species going about their daily business. But something had changed in the way they moved, the way they interacted. Hope, for the first time in millennia, the smaller species in the galaxy, believed they had a voice. Humanity's victory had shown them that the Council's power was not absolute. Change was possible. General Stone joined her at the window. "Any regrets about how things turned out?" Sarah shook her head. "The Council expected us to be sheep. Instead, they found wolves. But more importantly, they found teachers. We didn't just win a war, we started a revolution." Professor Wright approached with a datapad showing the latest reports from across the galaxy. 17 worlds have petitioned for representation based on the human model. The Council's absolute authority is cracking. Elena Vasquez, now bearing the rank of Admiral in Earth's new Stellar Defense Force, added her own observation. "The galaxy is learning what we always knew, that diversity of thought is stronger than uniformity of command, that freedom is worth fighting for, that even the smallest voice can change everything if it's raised at the right moment." As the three humans watched the bustle of galactic politics, outside their window, they knew that humanity's greatest victory wasn't defeating the Council fleet. It was proving that in a galaxy of countless species, the most dangerous thing of all was an idea whose time had come. The galaxy had demanded humanity's submission. Instead, humanity had given it something far more valuable: hope for a better future. And that, more than any weapon or strategy, was why humans would always be dangerous. They didn't just survive. They inspired others to believe that survival wasn't enough. The war was over. The revolution had just begun.